Hey there everyone, this is Jeff Perkins with JD Cutlery doing a quick video on the new Reate TX228s. It is the third version of the Reate Terminator. I am very pleased with these. We've definitely added a number of new milling cutouts, that type of thing, and really increased the appeal on these guys just with the additional milling and kind of some of the aesthetics pieces. I will show you the comparison of the T1000 version 2 to the TX228. Very top one is a T1000 version 2, and of course the bottoms are all of the new TX228s. I will go ahead and hit the specs for you real quick on these guys. So the overall length on this one is 8.98 inches. Blade length is 3.78. Cutting edge is 3.66. Closed length is 5.31. Of course, you've got the Bohler M390 steel in the blade, with a very hefty thickness of 0.238. And of course is a drop point blade with a belt satin finish to it. Of course, all of your components are titanium, including the pivot collar, all the screws, pocket clip, base, backspacer, all that type of good stuff. Does come in pretty heavy at 10.44 ounces, and I will do a quick comparison on the scale just to show you the difference between the V2 and the new model. And we'll kind of jump right in, take a quick look. So as far as the, let's see, let's go ahead and get some of these out of the way. The T1000 versus the 228. As you take a look at the blades right off the bat, you definitely have a very different looking blade. You've got the compound grind with the hollow and flat on the T1000, where you do not have that compound grind on the new version, but they do have such a beautiful cutout through here with the additional holes. Again, just for aesthetics, maybe a little bit of a weight reduction. Does make it so that one's a little bit more flickable from the underside. Both have titanium scales, titanium hardware. I've just done a black DLC on this one by swapping out the DLC hardware from one of the full black DLC versions that I have in stock. But as you can see, there's some additional milling in the back. The milling is here as well, and it's hollowed out a little bit up here where this is more of a flat up there. Just a few little differences there. A little bit of difference as far as the overalls go. Blade length, pretty much same exact length. Handle appears to be about the same as well. I am going to go ahead and jump in here real quick, and let's hit the scale. See what that looks like. So 10.7 ounces. Okay, so the specs on the website said 10.44, but the TX228 is coming in at 10.7, and the V2 is coming in again at 10.7 to 10.6. So very, very similar in weight, even though we did do a little of additional cutout, that type of thing. So just kind of interesting. Definitely the same size knife. So let's go ahead and do just a basic of each one of the knives. This is a really cool looking satin finished multicolored green with kind of hues of gold, and of course that purpley bronze Superstorm really turned out beautifully. I really like the way that looked with the black DLC. So on this satin finish and one other satin finish version, I did them up like that. These guys all center in there really nicely, and the lockup was nice and early on all of them. Again, you've got the cool additional milling going on here, as well as additional holes, and just a super sharp edge on that. Here is one of the black DLC version with the pocket clip, pivot collar, and all hardware polished up. This is a kind of teal blue with a lot of bronze Superstorm. Did the same on the Backspacer, and then went with the bronze on the slide for the unlock. So these guys definitely are nicer. Well, are very nice. One of the very few difference as far as mechanics went, pivot collar is hollowed out a little bit more with a little bit bigger diameter pivot screw than the V2s or all of the T1000s. So that is really the only difference in mechanics. The gearing and all of that appears to be the same. The springs that run on both sides of the little slide lock are a little bit shorter on this version. So it's definitely giving you a good pushback, or a good an even stronger return as that lock slide comes back into place. So definitely pretty cool. This is a dark blue satin finish with a lot of bronze and gray in the Superstorm. Again, went with a black DLC on this one, and then the Superstorm treatment on this side really turned out pretty sharp. So centered in right on the money, and really just a hefty piece of art there to play with. Here is the polished out version that I did. Polished out sky blue with a lot of really nice bronze Superstorm. Then polished out all of the screws, pivot collar, Backspacer, and went with that nice sky blue finish. So it definitely turned out beautifully. A lot of shine in this one. Again, polished out really nicely. Lockup's right on the money. Just a superstar of a beast of a knife. And the last one is another black DLC with the purple blue bronze Superstorm and blue hardware. Same in back. Just went blue on the slide. So if you guys are looking for a custom anodized T228 or TX228, check them out on the website. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.